Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, three-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast with Chris, Dan, Bobby, and Tony, the Uncle Puckers. Let's go Devils!
Hey guys, you know what we haven't heard in a long time?
It's been a while.
What?
Finally got off the schneid, boys.
Yes.
They finally did it. Just finished up 5-2 Devil victory over the Pittsburgh Penguins, who I can say with confidence thoroughly own at this point.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, what's up, boys?
Hey, man.
What's going on?
I didn't really recognize that team on the ice. It looked a little bit more like last year's team with a whole bunch of different names.
So what's your hottest take from tonight's little win? I got a whole bunch of them. What's yours?
Hottest. Oh my gosh. There's so many guys that played so well. A 60-minute game, a complete team effort. I thought that Miller looked really good. I think that gives me a little hope for this defense.
Alex Holtz could have had 4 goals tonight.
Yeah, he looked great. I didn't want to throw the Holtz out there right away because, everybody says
he could have had 4 goals tonight. Easily.
That goal he got was that's a finisher's goal. There was a little bit of open net there. There was a short pass from behind the net, so that's tough to kind of corral. I mean, you expect hockey players to get that when you see a little bit of space there. But
Jari had no idea where he was.
Yeah, the reality is a lot of people
was looking to his left.
Yeah, so that was a beautiful goal for sure. I thought that Luke Hughes' goal or assist when he came down, the way he cut through at the blue line to set up that goal for Bratt was
Bratt, yeah,
I think a beauty
that was
too.
Beautiful.
Palat started that goal for Holtz. Really, with all his hard work, just everybody just seemed to do well today.
You know what struck me the most of this game, as opposed to the 3 before, when the guys started making mistakes, they just got compounded one after the other. So it only took one dude to make one mistake. If the puck ended up in the back of the net, and then everybody would fall apart, whether that would be overcompensating, whatever the case is. Tonight, there were mistakes from the guys that we kind of expect to make mistakes once in a while, like Luke Hughes. Mm-hmm. Luke Hughes had that big mistake. It led to a breakaway. At the blue line, I think he was pinching, and he got beat, and the puck going the other way. Vanacek makes a big save. Like his next shift, he makes that beautiful play you were just talking about and gets to pass over to, whose goal was that?
Bratt's goal.
Or
Bratt's goal.
Yeah.
Who?
Beautiful.
Thank you for showing up.
On that.
So, thank you for showing up tonight, Mr. Bratt.
Yeah, goal and assists. That's what you needed from him.
And he was
clutch.
pushing the play a lot. He was involved a lot. And the other guy who again made a bad mistake against the boards, Palat threw the puck in front of the net, and it got to a Penguin who had a good scoring chance. His next shift, what does he do? He makes the play that you're talking about on Holtz's goal, which was all started by him and hard work.
Doesn't happen without that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like these guys made a mistake, and they got on the bench. They came out the next shift, and they made plays, and they played their asses off tonight. It was the first game that we've seen all year that looked like a full Devil game.
Full 60. And, it had the makings, too, of another, really tough go. This is how hockey works, right? Like, Pittsburgh, basically the hottest team coming in as far as 5 straight wins, only giving up 8 goals in the last 5.
They scored first.
They scored first again. Yeah, there was a lot of things. There was I think, was it the second goal was the, big breakdown on defense. And
right.
It just, it looked like it had trouble written all over it. But in the back of your mind, you did kind of know we've been playing them pretty well. Like, I'm confident when we go into Pittsburgh for whatever reason. I like playing up against them. There's a lot of things that could have went the wrong way. They finally, like you said, Chris, they just kind of tuned that out. They just, okay, that happened, move on. And then to score the way they did, bang, bang, bang in the third, that reminded me a lot of last year too, with that just kind of killer instinct when now it's time to bury them. And Toffoli, my God, His shot, I just love that guy.
I do too. This was the first game that they're in at least the last 5 or 6 that their speed was apparent. They were flying tonight. So with
27 million on the shelf, right?
Yeah, with 27 million on the shelf.
I guess Miller could have made a big difference, but it sounds more like everybody got the message that everybody's working harder.
It's hard to tell, right? Because they had the 7 defensemen, so they weren't always consistent defensive pairings. So I was trying to really keep my eye on Miller to see who he's playing with, how it was going. But just overall,
do you know what his ice time broke down as?
I didn't get this. He just jumped right down here, but
I could find out.
Looks
no big.
I would bet he probably played about 9 minutes or so. I would guess. Okay. I mean, just off the top of my head.
Love to say it was. Defensive pairings and all that, but really, like you said, it's that was the whole team buy-in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sure was.
You couldn't ask for better timing. I mean, really was the low point of the season. Following a loss, there were another lackluster performance, and I think that just looking at everything, social media, Devil fan stuff. I mean, I don't think Devil fans have been lower than going into this game tonight.
Yeah.
And maybe even lower than the previous season's, rough December. Remember, we had that great November, a rough December, and then back in January, we start putting the pieces back together. But, December came a month early, it seemed like, and we were in the worst part of this season for sure to date. And maybe we're on the upswing. Huge game upcoming.
Dan, real quick before we get into the Ranger game, you just mentioned about how it, this is how we looked a lot like last December, right? And we were having, what was the game that got us out of the slump during that bad December? If you remember, it was December 30th against the Penguins, and we won, I believe, 4-. I think that might have been even an overtime win. I do have it. It was goal, I think. It was a 2-1 overtime win by the Devils. It was in Pittsburgh. I believe that was the game, and it was no, I'm sorry. It was in Pittsburgh. It was 5-2 win. The Devils came out. They had a 5-2 win, very similar to the score we had tonight, and that led to the January where we really kind of got our shit together.
Right. And didn't look back.
Yeah. And this was it looked a lot like it, but please go ahead with your point. Sorry.
No. I mean, I maybe we didn't have that huge streak preceding it this season, and we are definitely playing catch up way more than we were even after that rough December last year. But what I'm hoping is that this was the low point of the season, that they get a consistency of playing 60 minutes, like you said, for the first time that you saw a 60-minute game. Because I think even with top 2 scorers out playing a 60-minute game, this team is going to win way more than they lose. And if they can just keep this together, then really the sky is the limit when a team gets healthy again. So great things tonight.
And Devil fans, I think, were down. And I think if you really look at this game, it was a super important game. If they lose this game tonight, they're losing 4 in a row, no confidence whatsoever, going to play the hottest team, one of the best teams in the league on Saturday night, who is just, have been they highlighted that date as soon as the schedule came out. Right. And, you have to be up and ready for it. I thought Vanacek played outstanding tonight. Yeah. Yes. That's the goaltending performance we need.
I do only give up 2, right? Just to see that, 2 or less, oh my God, that can happen.
And everybody just played. It was an all around good game. I thought Michael McLeod skated his ass off tonight. I still can't wait until he's back on the 4th line, but he played his ass off.
I will say he's been one of the better players, even as the team's done poorly. He was definitely. I think he led in shots the previous game, that shouldn't happen.
No, you're right.
So you're 100% right. To see him, fitting in where he belongs, still performing well, but with everybody else picking up their game.
Yeah, I mean, when when everything starts to fall into place, which is hopefully soon, Jack centering line number 1 and Nico centering line number 2, maybe Colin Miller's in. I thought the kid Willman played a good game on the few shifts that he had. I thought he brought a lot of speed and little passion to his play. I enjoyed watching him. He didn't get much ice time, but I liked what I saw. When I don't know if he'll be in the lineup when everyone's healthy, but like I said, Miller back there playing good. McLeod back down on that third or fourth line. This team they're deadly. They are deadly. They just that's the thing. I think like why the Devil fans were so down. I don't think it was because we should be winning a Stanley Cup or no one expected that. Now it was just to see how there was no effort. If you're losing close games and you're out there, Devil fans wouldn't have been so down. Like, hey, man, they're busting their ass. It's bad breaks. It's this or it's that.
There were a lot of bad breaks. There was a lot of bad
but it was caused by them.
No, you're right. But that's what I'm saying. I could live with those bad breaks, just like you're saying there. What really concerned me was, like, how are we falling apart? And you contrasted that with this game where, there's going to be mistakes, but how do you respond the next shift? That's what we hadn't seen. And, that's what's great to see turn around finally. And
you're going into the third period tied 2-2. I mean, this was not the Devils didn't have a handle on this thing until halfway through the third period. So it took a lot of hard work. And I was coming into the third period. I said to myself, I'm like, all right, here we go, time to fall apart because this is what the Winnipeg game. I mean, that was one of the worst 60 minutes of hockey I've seen the Devils play in a really long time. That Winnipeg game. Absolutely. That's the thing that's still scary, like how capable they are to play that badly. Like, I hope that's a thing in the past.
Yeah, I really do. I it's weird to think like one game turns things around, but in retrospect, sometimes it does. I going into this game, I was looking at where the Devils are at and what they really lack. And we discussed it last show, a system. I can't say that we have an emerging system here that we're going to play. But I was also thinking how this team's a little different. Like it's very hard to like. I think you were bringing up last time that the Rangers bought into a system, which is a great move for them because they're looking at their team, and I think the idea you put forth was that Laviolette basically said this team is going to have a system if they're going to win. Mm-hmm. And I'm a big fan of a system, but our team is different. They're very dynamic. So they have to find something that works for them, and I don't think it's going to be a straight-up defensive system kind of game. It could be something much more, but they're going to have to find that. And what does that look like every night? I'm still not sure because you're right. They could turn in a bad game at any time.
But if you look at the team last year, they did play with a system for the good majority of the regular season. They played their system was puck possession. It was just using their speed. Intercepting passes, which they did tonight. They were all over the place. Defensively, we didn't have the best defensemen last year. We just really possessed the puck all the time. And our D-men were so good at just one shot on goal and the puck is out of the zone. And we weren't doing that this year. And whenever we didn't do that in games last year, we got ourselves scoring late in the period, scored on, making these mistakes. Like, I thought tonight was just, if that's your system, that's just hard working, offensive zone pressure. And just, they weren't looking for the pretty pass. They weren't looking, a couple of times because they did have a ton of chances. The thing that impressed me the most tonight was their penalty kill. Yeah, they allowed 2 shots on the penalty kill and had 5 on Pittsburgh and 1 shorthanded goal. That's your system. Pressure. Get the puck and just keep it in their zone. And they did that last year. They did it this game. It's going to be hard against the Rangers. With the Devils and their speed that they have, I don't know if we're ever going to be a team, that's going to be that physical. I don't think that is this team as much as we feel like they need somebody to do that. I feel like just one guy doesn't solve that. Look at Toronto. Did Ryan Reeves make their team a lot tougher? No, not really. It's one dude.
Again, yes, that's it.
What's that?
In the one-to-one situation, of course, that's probably the guy you want throwing
right.
blows,
but how important is he? He's been a healthy scratch already. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you just, that guy that. The tough teams, I'll say the Vegas Golden Knights are a tough team. They have tons of guys that play a physical style.
There's not just one guy. Definitely.
We don't have that. And you're not going to get that with getting one guy. And I'm all for making a trade for a better defenseman if you feel that that's what's got to be done. But it can't be because we got to be tougher. We're just not that team. And I
just wish they would stand up a little bit more in certain situations.
Yeah.
I don't expect
that's where I'm thinking.
To be, grinding out every game with grit. But at certain times, it's important that even if a guy is not known as the tough guy, he stands up for his teammates. Yeah. I will say Palat has done that when called upon, and that's great. I want to see it a little bit more spread out. No, it shouldn't. You're right. This is not that kind of team, so it shouldn't even show up every game. But when it does, you can't be punked out in a bad situation, and it's disheartening, and it looks like a weakness on the team. You give other teams strength coming at you, going, "We're going to do this." We're going up against the Rangers. I see the way Trouba's playing. He's playing a good game. He emerges there. I'm not even going to say like tough guy or enforcer, but more like a character grit guy, you know? And so now you have these two different systems going at each other, and it's very exciting to see what could happen. Of course, the Devils are the more talented team, but as we've seen so far this season, that doesn't mean anything if people don't show up. So I'm very curious to see what happens.
Yeah, to your point, Dan, just the team sticking up for each other is what I really want to see. So if you're taking liberties with any player, I don't care who you are, somebody, go take that rightfully earned penalty, get on the guy, maybe risk a fight that you're not going to win. Nothing gets a team up more than a non-fighter who goes and throws blows, like sticking up for your captain or your star or something like that. And, I'm not saying they got to be cheap and dirty. Just someone takes a liberty, just pounce on them, just show that kind of
I
team
wish
strength.
This team did that more. I really do. They didn't have to tonight. There was no reason to. But yeah, I mean, you are going to have games against teams like Florida, like the Rangers, like Boston, that are going to get under your skin. And they're going to go after guys. And look, man, we lost our captain now. We don't know when the hell he's coming back. Hopefully Jack will be back for a Ranger game on Saturday. But, you lost two of your best players. I'm not saying Jack's was because it was a hit or anything like that. But, look how many hits he sure had this year. Guys were taking liberties on him before he took the elbow to the head. Yeah, you cannot let that happen.
I think that, if it's not a story of Nico is able to be hit out of a game, then he wouldn't have had some of the attention he had this year. I think some of the stuff that went on last year against Florida, that's known. I think that's part of the report on this Devils team.
That's interesting.
So, yeah.
I think you might be right.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I think he gets a lot of respect, rightfully so, Nico, but I am wondering if, that's not the message, that's not the report that the opponents have.
Definitely one thing that just flowed from the end of last season straight into this season. It just continued.
Yep.
That definitely has to change.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna have to play a bit more physical than they're used to against the Rangers. You're gonna have to. It's gonna be hard to get space in that game. I think these guys can do it, but you're gonna have to maybe be a little bit more physical to create a little bit more space. Pittsburgh tonight did not play a very good game. I don't know how much of that was the Devils. There's a very good chance that when you are playing a team like the Devils when they're on, they're very hard to defend. You end up making mistakes. You end up taking penalties. If they can get into their game and play the way they played tonight, they'll win against the Rangers.
You know what I saw tonight too? When they really started putting it together and scoring the way they were scoring, even to make it the fifth goal, the real energy and excitement of the goals. And I know usually when people score, they're going to be very excited unless it's a completely lopsided game. But what I'm specifically saying is I can see that kind of energy. This was a big moment, a big game.
The relief.
Yeah. This is how we should play. I just feel like that's going to carry over a little bit.
I feel, it's a big game or a big spot, a big situation when Jesper Bratt cheers for goals, because he's one dude that just never does a celly. He scores a goal. He might get a smile on his face.
Maybe a smile. A lot of times
it's usually Jack making the face at him that finally gets him to smile.
Yeah, or he smiles just off some stupid goal he scored that he had no business, going in the net
or some shit.
Other than that, and he was celebrating tonight. It's when Toffoli scored, and when he scored, he was celebrating. So, yeah, they knew it was big. This team felt it. I mean, the heat was real, and they were playing bad. And I guess it's got to be really hard in a dressing room when you're going through that.
Yeah.
And, I feel like everything gets compounded. It's got to be so hard to get out of that slump.
Absolutely. That's one guy we never really think of as the leader either, is Jesper Bratt. He's the young up-and-comer, and he's very talented, and he can do all these things. But I never looked at him as a leader. And to see him maybe become a real leader, and thinking about as he ages becomes more of a veteran, especially if he's showing the consistency that we all want from him. Wow, what an amazing player that will be. Like we don't even really expect it of Bratt, but if he adds that to his game, it's huge.
I said that Bratt and Hughes have that potential to be a, Lemieux, Yager and Draisaitl, McDavid type of combo. The only thing that's stopping Jesper Bratt from that, and you just said it, Dan, is consistency. Just you can't go on 6-game scoring droughts, not when the team needs you the most, and he knew the game was important tonight, and he played his ass off, and he was one of the, our best offensive skater tonight. I thought him and Alex Holtz were our two best offensive skaters tonight.
Do you guys think that maybe he's benefiting a little bit from getting that lead scoring role right now in some way?
Well, I'll see if he keeps doing it. He was invisible. Like I said, he hadn't had a goal in 6 games before tonight. So, tonight, though.
The chatter was already starting right about we can't score when Hughes isn't here.
Yep.
It was everywhere. It was kind of
because it does come down to in its simplest form, the pressure's on you now. Can you perform? And you can't. The playoffs, pressure's on. Can you perform? No. Jackson and Nico aren't there. You're the guy that has to step up. Can you do it? No. He did it tonight.
He did.
He did it tonight, and we're going to need him to do it against the Rangers.
He's amazing to watch when he's on.
Yeah, he's one of the most fun players to watch. He's amazing with the puck, and that goal he had was absolutely gorgeous. The whole play, and Holtz's goal that he was a part of was that was Mercer and Palat, and and Mercer, I'll give him right. He misses that fucking
the
layup pass to Holtz for a breakaway, and a couple of shifts later, he makes that pass to him, scored a goal. They put their, like I said, they were able to
compartmentalize.
Thank you.
That dude.
And made a mistake. I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to go back out and make a play. And
who was sitting next to Mercer when he was still slamming the door in his stick? He was kind of giving that pat. It was Palat.
Yeah, it was.
That kind of pat in the back, let it go, bud. Next
shift,
right?
Exactly. Kind of so. You got a lot of game left.
And that's what you want to see from Palat. He's the veteran. He's not. He's telling him to just chill, maintain composure. That's great. That's a good.
This is the mindset you got to have going into the Ranger game. This was, you couldn't ask for a better way to go into that game right now. Because they got to be feeling really good right now.
Literally, you could a 5-0 shutout wouldn't have been as good as the way this game unfolded, really, because they had to come back. They did, and then third period, like you said, it was really up for grabs. They were playing good. Pittsburgh maybe wasn't playing great, but you didn't know which way that game was going to go.
That's true.
And then they pounced. So they got a real good feeling coming out of that game.
They did not accept just losing this game
against a good goaltender too.
Yeah, he was playing well.
He's got a good. His GAA is I think 2-3. Ours is 3-4. So there's a big difference there. It's a whole goal swing.
And our save percentage is just brutal. And I do think what is up with Schmid?
Well, that's what I was thinking about with the Rangers. Would you give him a shot at it?
No.
I think Vanacek played the Rangers better last year until the playoffs. He was really good. During the playoffs, I know he was a little shaky. I would like to give him, that spot. Plus, right now, he definitely is the more steady of the two. They're both taking a lot of shit for their numbers.
Not by a ton, but by enough.
And I honestly feel like I've seen a couple articles recently on the goaltending and where we stack, and here's I think it was it now. Your guy Swayman, right? He's leading the league in goals against it, like something crazy, like 1.8 something. It's looking great, but
sounds like the 90s.
I would love to see you switch to 2 goalies. You take your pick, Vanacek or Schmid and Swayman right now, and I wager that neither goaltender would have vastly different numbers. Like, there is no way Swayman could get that goals against with the defense we've been putting up, guys.
Right.
You're right. Totally.
So I'm not too panicked. Plus, there is really not much we're going to do on goaltending right now that I can see. So, I haven't seen like a colossal, like this guy, he's been given the lead and he's given it up on softies. That would make me feel like we're losing games because of these guys. I honestly don't feel like we're losing games because of these guys. I look back at some of them, especially key moments. Some of the goals that have been I don't even want to say bad, but maybe a little questionable at bad times. So no, we have not gotten stellar goaltending. These guys are gods and nobody can save the Devils. I'm not saying that, but I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people are worried about.
Right.
I agree to an extent. I do agree where you have a team like Edmonton, who their goaltenders were costing them games. It was obvious that they could not stop a fucking anything. I feel like, Schmid played pretty good in the first two periods against Winnipeg. I thought he played pretty good in his loss in St. Louis. Yes. I think if we play the way we played tonight, I'm confident with either goalie. But going in against the Rangers, I think the way that Vitek stepped up tonight and really did what we need him to do, what he did all of last year, made big saves when we needed him to make big saves, and he did it. I think he deserves a start against the Rangers.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think this is one of those situations where this is one of those nothing changes to the next game, unless, of course, somebody's coming back from injury that you can slot back in. Like, you're going to put Timo if he gets there. You're going to put Hughes in. Otherwise, I think you kind of keep it. They've kind of earned it to go into this game. I originally thought this was going to be a Schmid game. I agree with you on the Winnipeg. It's one of the notes I wrote down. I thought he really started off more than good. I thought he started off great. The first couple saves, I thought he had some really kind of high-end saves, and then I don't know how the whole thing fell apart. But I did have him pegged for that. But I think now, this is – listen, like I said before, I don't remember the last time we only gave up 2 goals. So that's a victory in itself.
Who would you put in, Dan?
I probably would see. I feel like I'm going back on my philosophy going into the season, which is I want to see more Schmid, and I do. And I think in the last 3 or 4 games, I've said I really want to see Schmid in this game theoretically, but not now. And I said not now because we were skidding into that losing streak, and we needed to put the brakes on. So I'm going to take any advantage of my goaltending and go with that. So I said, we got to play Vanacek for this game or that game while we weren't playing very well. Now that they've played exactly one game really well, it's still not now. I need Vanacek in because I want to take that little advantage. And it annoys me because I feel like we should be in a better position and we should be giving Schmid more games. And it's not like, oh, I love Schmid, he's got to get more games. Just the opposite. I want us to know everything about this guy before the trade deadline. Is this somebody we think he's so right there? He's so great for the organization. We got to keep him. Do you remember this game? Do you remember that game? We're not going to know that unless we see more of him than we've been seeing. Because right now I feel like, do I really know more about where he's at in his game than I did after last season? Not really. And I want to see more of him. But unfortunately, I got to say again, not now. Not Saturday against the Rangers.
Do you guys think that there's a like philosophy, if you're a part of the coaching staff or Lindy Ruff or whatever, to say, all right, we played a really solid game. It's what we've been asking our team to do. Vitek stepped up, played good. We got to get Schmid in that same mindset. And if we play the way we did, I'm confident with either goalie in there. If we play the way we played tonight against the Pens, I'm giving Schmid the start against the Rangers. And I expect this team to keep playing the way that they played against Pittsburgh. And I expect Schmid to start crawling out of this little funk he's in. And then maybe we can get things rolling with our 2 goalies. Is that a mindset that you think even happens?
I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, in a 50-50, I could definitely see that.
Yeah,
I mean, I can see that being a philosophy for sure.
I could see the goaltending coach saying that like verbatim, like he's got to believe that his guys are where he wants them to this extent and everything you said, Chris. But still, I think head coaching at the end, looking at it going, this is a big game, guys.
Need this win.
I give it to Schmid.
Hotter hand.
I mean, I give it to Vanacek.
Vanacek. Yeah, you're playing it safe too. Yeah. And I don't think it's that much safer. I just feel like this is such a key moment. I don't want to lose a close game and look back and go, I guess, I mean, we would learn something that in a close game that Schmid did not have it in him there, but I think I want to win more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I think like all things being equal, Vanacek is just, to me, still just that much better. It's just a small enough tick better where you can say, got to go with this guy. Might not be that way forever. Again, and now we got to consider the way our defense is playing in front of him. Like, I get that. Just overall, I would think he's just, just a tad better.
There's also the, mindset. I guess it's all based in truth, but there's nobody that, if Schmid starts and we lose to the Rangers, a lot of people say, why did we start Schmid? We should have started Vanacek.
Yes.
If the opposite happens, nobody is saying, why didn't we start Schmidt? You know what I mean? Like there's still, it is kind of the obvious. He's our number one. He's our,
I think so.
So I think in a game like this, I mean, even though the only reason that you can make sense out of playing Schmid, other than what I said before about just saying, okay, the guy's got to get in there. He has played very well against the Rangers. Played very well in the preseason. He played well against them in
that's why
in the
I thought
playoffs.
he might get the game.
Do you feel?
I mean, he led the charge to come back in the playoffs. So don't forget that Schmid. Vanacek was a killer against the Rangers in the regular season last year, but Schmid was a killer in the playoffs for the Rangers. So yeah, I mean, on paper, it's just that right now, being that they're in such a fragile state still, put exactly one game together like this, I'm going to go with Vanacek. But I think all this time talking about the goalies, you know what? I got more curious, and I think it'll be a bigger impact what you choose to do on defense. Are we sticking with the 7 defensemen? Are we starting to replace Miller's time with, taking away from some of the guys that have not been so solid? What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, let's assume that Timo was just out for the day, right? So let's say he's the lock to come back in because we really don't know about Jack. He might have wanted to get a warm-up game before the Ranger game. So he's going to slot back in. So now we have our full 12 forwards. So, now the question is, who's coming out on defense? I think we know the clear answer. I mean,
but that's our clear answer that Smith is coming out. But is he? That's the thing. I mean, I think that Colin Miller showed you enough tonight.
I agree.
I think it's, even if it's for only a couple of games, I think you have to sit Smith.
I think Colin Miller helps you kind of reset the defensive pairings too, because just a lot more comfortable with him.
So for us, it's kind of a total agreement, no brainer. Smith is the 6th defenseman. I'm sorry, Miller's the 6th defenseman.
It would be Miller, and Smith would be the odd man out.
Are you going to be like totally shocked if you see Smith in this game?
No, not at all.
Because it's Lindy, right?
I wouldn't be shocked if I see Smith's got Holt's spot.
Right? I mean, I think that I think Miller deserves to be in. I think, like I said, he showed you enough tonight. We have a 14-game sample size or 15-game sample size now of Brendan Smith. If you take away,
need to see Miller now. Now it's time, even if maybe he winds up being a bust, which he won't.
Yeah, give him a couple games.
You need to see him.
Yeah.
For sure.
And they were talking about it in the during the game. I don't know. Did you get the Bobby? Did you get the Devil feed, or were you watching it? Okay. So Bill Spaulding had said, about Miller, that Miller told him, I know I didn't play good in the preseason, and I understood why I was sat for the first month. And I watched this team every single time they played, practicing with them. I didn't understand. I had a hard time. He had a hard time understanding exactly what they wanted from him defensively.
But he felt Spaulding exclusive.
But he felt that watching this team for the month that he was sitting, he really got a feel of the style that they play and how he's supposed to fit in. And it showed tonight. I mean, that's true. It showed. He played really good. It definitely wasn't one of our weak links tonight. I mean,
that's what we need. That's why I really want to replace Smith. I mean, he's the guy we needed to be tight, but yet it's like a double swing. He's not giving you that, extra defensive prowess, and he's actually the most, vulnerable defenseman out there. And so it's been a total gut punch with him in the lineup. He really has to come out if at all possible. If Miller can carry the weight, awesome.
Yeah, for everything we've been through in this early part of the season already, there's only been maybe a handful of games where the true expected lineup was out there.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, there was always somebody out right from the go. And if you ask me, Miller's one of them. Right from jump, that was one. And, we never, Foote, I know he's kind of a minor leaguer up and down, but he still was big part of the team last year. I think Bastian missed some time. There's kind of always been somebody.
Nosek went out early.
So we haven't really fielded the full team that at least all on paper we were saying this is the logical choice for your top 12, your top 6.
I know. You just gotta really hope we're building our equity in the good karma for health return to us, because it's been a rough early. I know people have had worse, 2-month spans, but not too many. This is a pretty bad injury spate when you pick all the guys and line up how many and a couple of the huge names. So it's been rough.
What did we say all summer long? Yeah. The only thing that's going to derail this team is injuries. And
I mean, we're predicting, very lofty heights for this team. And we always prefaced it with saying if they can stay healthy.
Yeah.
And when we did that, I don't think any one of us actually thought that our two top centers would be out at the same time for a long period of time. And then you throw like Timo Meier in there again, who quietly, by the way, is on pace now in a point a game. Like he really did kind of pick it up.
That's snuck
up.
He
did.
So, yeah, he did sneak up.
I haven't even really fully appreciated how he's turned it around.
Yeah, I agree. I like the way he's been playing.
He did pick it up while everyone else has been out. So.
And I expect him to be a very physical presence against the Rangers.
Yes.
He got under Shesterkin's skin and that whole Trouba's skin, all of these dudes, the entire playoffs, and it was beauty. Danico had said, I've heard him on XM a couple of times, mostly during the summer and stuff, and he said, and I completely agree. He said he's never seen a player have 0 points and have such a big impact on a playoff series that Timo Meier last
we
year.
all talked about it this summer too. The intangibles he brought to that series very well did just as much as somebody who got game-winning goals. I mean, he really changed the way the Rangers played against us.
And I think if he finds his groove, he's going to be absolutely lethal. I still feel like Meier has not really felt comfortable 100% with this team, and we got a lot of season left, and I think it's going to happen.
We got a lot of years left with him.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's going to happen this season, and I think it's going to be something like we didn't even realize we've been hoping for this much because a lot of other stuff has gone on. Toffoli, it's just so impressive. He joined this team and is really hitting on all cylinders right away. So it's easy to kind of forget. Meier's this huge untapped potential. He has not, really been at his 100% best, and he's been good. So, once we get the best from him, it's going to be sick.
I agree. This team, look, man, I hope Jack gets back soon, and I really hope Nico gets back soon. But when these guys are in this lineup and they're healthy, and like we said, they can keep their head above water, win a few big games. Because you take Jack and Nico out of the lineup and look at the Devils roster, it's a damn good roster. So they should still win. But, man, they can be so friggin' good. They can shoot up the Metropolitan Division standings in a matter of a month and a half. By January 1st, this team could be in a really good position. But it started tonight, and this is what we wanted to see. I just hope that bad was an anomaly and it's not going to happen again because, man, that wasn't just bad. That was some awful hockey.
When all said and done, I'd love to look at the comparisons between, last December at the weakest point of that December compared to this. Everything from like the goals, and I don't really dig that far into the stats, but I would just be curious to see how similar it is.
If I could remember correctly, the style of play that we were putting out there, the putrid hockey that we were putting out there was very similar. Like we were having complete defensive breakdowns.
Questionable. What are they doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Effort started falling off, and that's where it got really scary. Certain players going away. I mean, we invented that phrase as applies to Jesper Bratt during that period.
Yeah,
I mean, kind of always done it, but we never had to really say it until we got to that bad streak. So there were some similarities for sure, definitely. It was like a mini slump compared to it time-wise, though. I mean, let's face it. They've been drifting off for 2 weeks, but that was a whole month of hell. Yeah. And, if they come out now, that's really going to even things out, especially considering they don't have that bank of huge, winning streak. We did not have our, amazing November this year yet.
That was the pull your hair out moment too, that you couldn't figure because you saw what this team did. And then you're like, what the actual hell are you doing now? It doesn't make any sense.
It was a very night and day, November, December. It was pretty horrible. And
I quickly fell back into, okay, that's right. I forgot we're a bad team.
Yeah.
And I started to really kind of feel like, well,
that was a dream. The dream is over.
Right.
But no, they did turn it around. And, looking at it, I remember their low point going, if they come out of this as a team that knows, okay, wait, we can stop a slide. It does not have to turn into a big problem. Then they're going to be, really a force to be dealt with. And that's what happened, once we got into January. They won a few. They were looking good, dropped them. And then you were wondering, are they going to go back into that skid? So that's kind of where we're at now with this mini situation. You won one, you turned it around. Huge game coming up. Great chance to, keep a good thing going or you risk a big slide back into, that was just a blip against, Penguins. So it's
kind of like last year. Like you said, we came out of that funk, win a couple, then you take a step back, start winning again more. This game, obviously, we want to win. But this is really one of those games where I really care more about how they play.
Yes,
you know what I mean? If we lose a tough game, I'm not going to be all that worried about it. But if we come up and play like we did against the Jets, then tonight's game was for nothing.
Yeah.
You'll feel that way.
And, they go from the Rangers on Saturday to the Red Wings in Detroit on Wednesday. Winnable game. You play the way you played tonight, winnable game. Friday, which I guess that's Black Friday, right? 3 o'clock, I guess, in Columbus, right?
It's in Columbus, yes.
Yeah, so Blue Jackets, winnable game. You get those games. You got yourself a 4-game winning streak. You're feeling really good. Maybe Jack's back in the lineup. Maybe we hear a little bit about Nico coming back. It could be the start of something really good.
And if you reassess like you said, at the schedule at that point, if it goes the way you're saying, a quality game against the Rangers, winnable games at the end. If we win 2 of those 3 or maybe get 5 of those 6 points, and we look at the schedule and the standings at that point, we're going to be happy.
Yeah.
And you're going to say, okay, considering everything they've gone through, we're in a really good spot. Now, we got to win those games first, of course, but it's very possible. It's in front of them. It's there. Hopefully this team goes out and gets it.
Yeah. Yep. Before we go any further, we'll give a shout out to our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Kings of all drafts.
They really are. Bet the action on the ice with DraftKings Sportsbook. And for anybody that looked at the lines before the Penguin-Devil game tonight, the Devils were getting a goal and a half. So if you took the Devils, you made out really good because they didn't just cover. They won by 3, which was awesome.
Wow.
So download the app now and use code THPN. New customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey. That's code THPN only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The crown is yours. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. And on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. They put that in twice. Why do they do that?
They got to let everybody know it's 7 days.
It's 7 days. See DKNG.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2023. All rights reserved. I have to read that.
You got a new set of letters in there. I remember the CPPG. Now you got the CNDKALPF.
This is our first hockey one that DraftKings has sent us. Which awesome. You would think that they probably would have started with that on account that we're part of a hockey podcast.
They're like,
network.
oh, you guys are hockey, and
we had no idea. We just give everybody football.
Yeah, I thought it was Uncle Fuckers.
Hey,
the Uncle Fuckers.
No relation.
Trademark infringement.
Yeah. When do we play Toronto?
Let's see.
Those flappy heads.
Those beady little eyes and those flappy heads. Have you guys started Christmas shopping yet?
I tell you what, it's so hectic. I can't stand how hectic Christmas is.
Tell us how hectic it is.
I swear, I understand why people stack up their family like cordwood, because the hectic holidays are just too much. You know what you can do to gain some sanity in your life and not have dark thoughts? You could do Black Friday and get it out of the way. It's the anticipation that kills you. Get it done now. And you're like, but I can't because I got to wait for the damn sale and I don't know what I'm going to do. Guess what? They're doing Black Friday right now at Raycon. If you go to raycon.com/THPN, you're going to get 20 to 50% off site-wide. It's amazing. They make the everyday earbuds, which you could wear every day. They have 32-hour battery life, which is more than you need in a day, thus the everyday earbuds. So when you think about it, it's the best possible gift this holiday season. Don't forget this. They make a Magic 180 cable. It goes this way. It goes that. So what? You can charge iOS, micro USB, Type-C. You can charge everything. 100-watt power. it can deliver power up to 8 times faster. That's a lot of times faster. They're not done because your water is filthy, New Jersey. Their faucet filter, ultra filters, will filter your tap water against everything wrong with New Jersey, namely chlorine and heavy metals. Not heavy metal, Tony. Come back. It's heavy metals. It's a must-have for ensuring water you use is actually healthy. Raycon is known for delivering high-quality, thoughtful features at half the price of other premium tech brands. So right now, get to raycon.com/THPN and get 20 to 50% off site-wide. That's buyraycon.com/THPN to score up to 50% off Raycon products. Buyraycon.com/THPN.
Very nice.
Yes.
Very good, Dan.
There's only Dan can throw a Goodfellas reference into a Raycon ad. That was good, dude.
Yeah, best line any director's mother ever uttered.
Wasn't that Joe Pesci that said the line?
What? Which one? This one's
looking
looking
this way, one's looking that way, this one's going.
That was Scorsese's mother. And
it was Scorsese's mother.
The best part is, I don't think she had written lines. He told her just to talk to them like they're my friends.
Right.
And she kind of just made that up. She ad-libbed the best line that anybody's grandmother has ever said in a movie.
Did you watch Killers yet?
Not yet. I was so close to pulling the trigger on it one of these weekend evenings. I can't remember which one it was. And then I'm like, it's 3.5 hours, dude. I don't think I could do this in a theater. I might wait till it comes out, but I really did.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll check it out then. It's one of those.
Watch it at your leisure.
I looked at it. It was also in the local theaters. I thought it was only out there.
No, it's on Netflix.
That's cool. I saw Scorsese's last film that way, and I was glad I did because that was also mega long, right? The Irishman.
I turned it off. I couldn't finish it.
That was so long. I couldn't believe it was still going on. I feel like it was over 4 hours long.
Was
I don't
it
know if
good?
that's possible. It should have been better in 2 hours, I think. It wasn't bad, but it was nowhere near as good as Departed, in my opinion. People have strong opinions.
If you feel like it was 4 hours and it wasn't, that's not good.
I don't know if it was. I think it might have been.
Oh.
Right?
What's your favorite
Irishman?
Scorsese movie?
That is a tough call. Boy, I don't know. I think my most enjoyable one, I don't necessarily think is his best, which is for some reason, I will watch the fuck out of Gangs of New York. I love that movie. Yes. It's unlike a lot of his films. It's unlike all of his gangster series of films. And it's definitely not a perfect movie, but there's something about it, the history of the gangs of New York, the actual historical subject or whatever. And then I just love the way it flows. Daniel Day-Lewis is just fucking crazy and amazing. And they didn't work together too much. So for some reason, I got to pick that as my most enjoyable, even though I don't think it's probably his most critically acclaimed, and I understand why.
How about you, Bob?
I'd actually need to know a few more, to be honest. I can't think of a ton off the head, but I do love that movie.
I will give you all of Martin Scorsese's movies, but off the top of my head, The Departed, Gangs of New York, Goodfellas, Raging Bull,
Are you ranking
Taxi
them right
Driver.
Now?
What?
You're ranking them?
No, Bobby just asked for some, so I
love
was
The
just
Departed
naming
too.
them.
So I mean,
Casino, right? Remember Casino?
Yeah, Casino.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Then you got
this is like
Greenwich Village.
Picking your favorite band or picking your favorite band's best album. There's just
all right.
So many you can go with.
He is kind of like the Rolling Stones of directors, though, because he does a lot of different eras, and he may not be my personal favorite at times, but boy, was he huge in the industry. I know I really love the fuck out of Scorsese.
He did, let's see, The Last Waltz, of course, The Last Temptation of Christ. I'm going to give you ones I'm sure you probably saw, Bob. Cape Fear, The Aviator.
I forgot he did Cape Fear, the De Niro Cape Fear.
King of Comedy.
Yeah. King of Comedy.
Mean Streets, Gangs of New York, Casino, The Departed, Raging Bull, Shutter Island, The Irishman, Wolf of Wall Street. Goodfellas, Taxi Driver. I didn't see Killers of the Flower Moon. Have you seen that?
Not
That's
yet.
his newest
that
one.
Great.
I kind of like Shutter Island.
DiCaprio's in that, right?
Shutter Island, I thought was terrible. Yeah, DiCaprio.
Yeah.
It's funny because I thought it was not so great at the first time I saw it, but I saw it again, and I really kind of dug it. I was kind of surprised how much I saw it.
So I had read the book before I saw the movie. So,
right. So you knew the twist.
I knew the twist. So it was kind of like, all right. And I'm not a huge fan of Mark Ruffalo, so he kind of killed it for me.
I forgot he was in that. Now that you said that, right? Yeah. He was the Hulk. That's right.
He was the Hulk.
How about he was Smart Hulk too?
I hate his Hulk.
That's what I wanted to hear. Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. I loved Goodfellas. I mean, that's just a fantastic movie.
Oh, it's the most classic of classics. It's the most quotable movie maybe of all time. It's amazing.
Mean Streets. I mean, that was a fantastic movie. I wasn't a huge fan of The Aviator.
No. Didn't like that. I kind of totally forgot that was even his movie.
Good movie, but it's kind of like, once done, where some of the other ones you're naming, you can watch over and over again.
I really liked The Departed.
Departed and Gangs of New York for me, I'd say.
And I put them in the same category, kind of like Dan said. Like, they're not perfect movies. Like, even The Departed. Like, did you have to show us the rat at the end, dude? Like, we get it, you know?
No, The Departed was very good, but it was a little over the top at times where it was like, dude, you don't have to do this.
Exactly. But I really dug the movie. I liked all the performances. I thought that was a great fucking movie.
It's kind of cool just having some of those actors together,
Yeah.
Like Nicholson, he never really got a chance to do a Scorsese movie. And when you watched him in that role, you're like, dude could have been really good in a lot of Scorsese movies over the years.
Yeah.
But never happened, until then.
Now, has he worked with Leo and De Niro together, or no? They haven't been in a movie together.
This is the first time ever. Right? They made a big deal about it.
Oh, in this one, they're both in it?
No, it was a stupid commercial or something. I forget what it was. That was like a commercial that he did for something.
So De Niro's not in Killers of the Flower Moon?
I don't believe so. I got to double check. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. So I just thought it was... I
don't even know what it's about.
It's about Native Americans and,
so right away it's sad.
Well, it's interesting. I still like when he takes on historical stuff because I never thought of him as a historical guy until he did Gangs of New York. So I'm eager to see how it shakes down.
And I like his historical stuff. He does a good job.
Yeah, and I'm not like, I love historical movies necessarily. There's a lot of them I can't even watch. Or I just think they're just like, blah, I'll probably never see it again. Like Gladiator. I didn't really...
I didn't like that movie.
I wasn't,
Gladiator?
Like,
yeah, you liked it?
Gluteus Max? I don't know, I haven't seen it in like 20 years, but I remember enjoying it.
Robert De Niro is in Killers of the Flower Moon, so him and DiCaprio are in it together.
Okay, so that's maybe what that commercial I saw was like kind of spoofing on. That makes more sense.
Okay.
Said that.
Now I want to see it more.
It was a big, credit card commercial or some shit they did. It was like a 20-minute
who did
thing.
Gladiator? That was Ridley Scott, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah, and with Russell Crowe. Yeah.
I think that was Ridley Scott.
That wasn't really that historical.
No, the original Alien, yes, that was Ridley Scott's best movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Got a breaking tweet here.
Ooh, tweet away.
Amanda Stein that says Timo Meyer will be, quote unquote, out short term, says Lindy Ruff. Waiting to get back to New Jersey to have a better update on his status. So,
oh my God,
it may just be that we're running out the same lineup.
We are dropping like fucking flies.
Sounds like,
short term, though, a couple days maybe.
They said that about Nico.
Yeah, that's right. They're still saying that about Nico.
Oh boy,
right. This team has got something cooking, even without him in the lineup. So hopefully, if anything, they use this as a positive. The rest of the guys going, hey, everybody's panicking. They don't think we can do this.
And if you do beat us, just remember that at some point, this team is going to be super healthy this year. And when they do, you're going to have to probably play them again. And, if you want to act like if the Rangers come and beat us and they act all, like Ranger fans do around here, just stay quiet. And just remember, next time if Nico
they're not
and
Jack
be humble,
and
Timo are in it, we're just going to beat you down.
I don't think you're going to find too many intelligently cautious Ranger fans. The Rangers win this game, they're going to be like, that's it. We're the most the playoffs didn't happen,
mm-hmm.
Right?
And that's fine. We'll use that.
It's their revenge game.
And then what do we say?
Yeah, they've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Yeah. What do we say to them if we beat them without Jack, without Nico, without Timo?
We say enjoy your. The flash in the pan head start you had the season. Because you're not coming through us. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we don't even have to say it. It'll just be obvious because they could have a great record and feel like they're really building on stuff. But this team looks at us as they stopped us in the playoffs. If we beat them on the season series, even if they're ahead of us at points, going into that series, they will feel like they are owned by us. And that's what we want. So the heads up series is super important, more for them than for us, because I feel like, our team is definitely the better team with the higher ceiling. They've just been playing fucked up hockey, and their team has bought into a very good coaching system, and they will do well with it, but they really can't, use it to beat our team if we're playing well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we do have the better team. And, even like you said, even if they do beat us on Saturday, you are playing a shell of a Devil team right now.
You could argue, depending on where your allegiances lie on our best players, that our top 3 players are out of the lineup. Maybe you could say 1, 2, and 4 if you think Brat's better or whatever. Sure, but either way you slice it, that is the
I think it's very safe to say that we will be playing that game against the Rangers. 3 out of our 5 best players will be gone. I don't care how you stack them, but 3 out of our top 5 players will be.
Bratt,
so that's like go back in the day. That's like Crosby, Malkin, Letang.
Well, look at the Rangers.
Fleury, all gone.
Exactly.
So we're playing the Rangers, right? And they don't have Chris Kreider, Mika Zibanejad, or Shesterkin, or Panarin and Zibanejad and Shesterkin. That's where we're at.
Guys,
What'd you say, Dan? I'm sorry.
No, I was agreeing. It's just there's so many teams. You take their top 3 out. I mean, take the top 2 out of Edmonton. Is that a team you're afraid of in the least?
No,
absolutely not. So they don't even need their top 3 out to be, as in the same boat we are. And that shows you that we are a deep team. It's pretty amazing to have 3 of your top 5 and be this potentially deadly if they just play their game.
Just tonight it was so reassuring that, okay, wait a second, maybe things aren't going to go completely off the rails. It was so nice to see tonight. And like you said, even without the big guys, we looked like a deep team tonight. Mm-hmm. It was goals from Bastian, goals from Curtis Lazar. That's what deep teams do. They get those third and fourth line guys pitching in and making things happen. And they played great games, not just a good shift where they scored a goal. They all played really good games. Did you see him when we played Toronto? I was just curious.
Yeah, it's like March 26th or something.
We don't play them until March.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming
we
that
don't play Toronto until March.
Unless I missed one, I just kept going month to month. But
that's amazing.
I think you're probably right.
That's got to be.
We didn't play Boston last year until December. I know March is a little crazy. I think there was one team that we didn't play until March.
And he said late March. He said March 26th.
Well, maybe it's our last 3 games in a row with them.
Yeah, I guess so. We're going to see them a lot after that, right?
Yeah. What do we play with the Atlantic? Sure. We play them 3 times. We play the Metro 4 times, and you play everyone in the West twice, right?
Which means in between April and May, we'll see them 3 times. That's a decent amount. It happens that way.
Yeah. Do you? Oh, I thought you were going to say something about the Maple Leafs.
Oh no. No, I mean, why are you eager to play them again? Why did you bring them up here?
No, because it was just I still have that bad taste in my mouth from the last time when they broke our 13-game winning streak, and I want revenge.
That's true, and I give them the credit.
When the refs have a hand in that?
Exactly what I was going to say. If you ask me, how did that streak end? Well, the refs gave away that. Who was the team they gave away that game? Oh yeah, it was Toronto, and I remember that because it was like, it's Toronto. Let me call Toronto. It always feels weird, like the headquarters in their home base.
Every goal that went in. Oh wait, we're going to review that. Yeah, that's not a goal. What do you mean it's not a goal? Yeah, there was goaltender interference. He didn't touch him. Yeah, they said it was goaltender interference.
When they call the booth,
3 goals.
When they call Toronto to review, it's actually they go to the arena. That's where it's actually reviewed.
Actually, they called and the linesman next to him cell phone rang and he picked it up. So they were just talking to each other. Yeah, no, they're just.
Don't give them that. No, they're playing us, stupid.
Who's your favorite team, stupid? Toronto. Okay, then what are we doing here?
It seems very homerish. I don't know. I don't know where they got to move the capital of NHL, but it shouldn't be in Toronto.
No. I think they should move it to San Jose. There will be no bias there.
Yeah, that won't
move the NHL headquarters to San Jose. But all right, so quick little thoughts before we wrap up tonight about the Rangers Saturday. Anything that you guys want to share about what to look forward to, what you expect, what do you think is going to happen? Are you willing to actually put a score prediction out there? Whatever you want. Bobby, go ahead.
Pressure. I'm really confident now coming out of this win. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win by a very similar score, maybe 4-2.
Okay.
And Mercer's still going to give me my 3-point night, so it's got to happen.
Yeah, you got it down.
Yep.
We'll see. How about you, Dan?
Devils going to win a close one. And it's going to take one of their best games, definitely their best game this season for sure to do it, in order to do it. And I'm confident that they will, but it's going to be a very close game. They're going to have everybody playing as good as they played tonight and then some, because the Rangers are not going to let this one go easily. They're a good team. I can't see us scoring more than 3, and I think we're going to win a close one, 3-2.
Oof. I'm not willing to put a score out because I honestly have no idea. All I'm going to say about this game,
I just put a score out, and now you're.
I said if you wanted to. Yeah. I don't want to.
I felt the pressure though.
Well, that's on you.
I didn't read the fine print on this.
All right, I'll throw a score out. I'll throw a score out. The Devils. I just want to see them play
5-0, right? Isn't that
10-0?
10-0.
I just want to see them play the way that they played tonight. I just want to see that consistency. That's it. Get on the board, keep things going. The Rangers have a tendency to strike first and strike early. I think we have to stay out of the penalty box. I think they're probably saying the exact same thing, that they need to stay out of the penalty box. Even though the Rangers' power play is not as good as ours, for some reason against us, they just seem to score at will. So I want to stay out of the box. This is probably the best goalie that we've faced so far this year. So that's going to be a bit of a test. But, I mean, you just got to keep – what's that?
Jonathan Quick.
Oh, wow. Would that be disrespectful?
They won't play.
Well, no. Is Shesterkin healthy again? Is he back? Because I know he was hurt.
He was hurt.
Quick had a couple games, but
I don't know.
He's back, right?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
If Quick is playing, I feel a lot better about us winning. But I haven't watched too many Ranger games. I've been so disgusted with hockey this last week. Like, I've watched the Devils, and I haven't watched any other stuff. I'm just like, because I don't want to hear everybody else talking about how bad the Devils have been. That's our job.
Sure.
Right.
Document this.
It's much more fun when you listen to everybody praise our team and tell us how awesome they are.
Yeah.
So,
So listen, before we go,
yeah,
I'm trying to start that whole new Devils versus the World thing each week, but I don't really have a great one this week that would be worthy of a challenging, Google search or whatever. So maybe I'll just pose this one that seems fitting for today as the trivia question that it is. See if you guys can just
so it's
get
a trivia question.
Yeah. So the last one was 2. I just took it, put it down as a stat, and we went and Googled it. So on this week in 2018, who had 2 goals and 2 assists and a +4 in the Devils' 4-2 win over the Pittsburgh Penguins?
This is a great question.
Okay, wait. What was his line?
It was 2 goals, 2 assists, +4.
I'm going to go Brett.
2 goals, 2 assists, +4 against Pittsburgh last year this week.
No, 2018.
2018.
Oh, oh shit.
Brett was still there.
I thought it was last year too.
Yeah, I don't know why I assumed that, because in Pittsburgh we were talking about the turnaround game.
This wasn't the best one this week, but it just happened to be against Pittsburgh, so I just thought I'd throw it out there.
All right, I'm gonna take a guess. Hall. Igor Sharangovich.
Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna go
for Chris.
No, is Hall still with us in 2018? No. He's gone by then.
Was he? No, he wasn't. No, he left. It might be. Bobby's making it look like it's fucking Taylor Hall. So say Taylor Hall.
He said,
I got to stick with it.
He said Hall. He's correct. It's Taylor Hall.
It's Taylor Hall. Okay.
Yeah,
he wasn't with them yet, Dan. Pick somebody else. I'm going to take Taylor Hall.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you win. You both win.
Congratulations, Chris.
So, I just Googled like this day in NHL. I didn't find anything specific right now, but I'll try to.
Bobby,
when there's better ones, we'll do it.
What do I win?
Bragging.
You keep a score on this, right?
I'm keeping score on the fact that the Devils are more relevant than the Rangers and all of the NHL.
But my win tonight.
Yeah, I'll just bank that for next
Devils
time
are
you need it.
more relevant.
I need a reason to play this game, Bob. I need to know who the leader is.
This is not the real game. This was simply a
the
trivia
Devils
question.
are more relevant than everything except Dan.
Game? This is not even the real game.
No.
You tricked us with a fake game.
If you want to play the real game, you may Google right now this day in hockey history and see if that is better.
It doesn't matter. I just called it. You can Google.
I told you I'm going to bank that for your ego next time you need a stroking.
Well, I'm sure something has happened this day in hockey history. I'm sure something happened this day in hockey history that's a lot better than Taylor Hall having a 4-point
Which is why
game.
I said it's not working this week.
So
just because it didn't go your way.
No. Right. Every week I look at the entire 7 days of these stats that I have from the Devils. What I'm
Right.
trying to find is something important that happened that we can challenge the rest of the league.
Okay.
This week, there was nothing that stood out worthy
So
of that game.
okay, I got you.
So I just
gotcha.
asked you guys a trivia question. That's all.
I still think I get a point.
Is there any more
You-
trivia questions
you can
for
have a
this
point.
week, or just that
2
one?
points, please.
I mean, I have trivia questions for the whole year if we want to get into this down the
Give
road.
us another one.
Bobby's holding up
wanna
a
just
big
do a random-
official book. I love it. What
Ready?
is it?
This
It's
is-
like
I
a
just
devil
bought this.
joke book.
I just
Is it-
bought
I-
this.
at
It's
first, I
the-
thought it was
it's
a program. It's from a certain season. It's not. You
No,
bought that
this is
book.
the New Jersey Devils
It's
trivia
a very
quiz
thin book. How expensive was that book?
The one with all the this was like $4.
It's almost a pamphlet.
Yeah, I was
All
like
right.
ordering shit on
Thomas
Amazon.
Paine?
I'm like, let me throw this into my cart. We'll just do a random one. I just opened to a random page.
Okay.
A random one.
Have some common sense.
Okay, that's too easy.
I like that, Dan.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, here you go.
Here we
You
go.
guys. In the 1987-88 season, the Devils were a perfect 3-0 against which 3 teams? Now, see, this is a tough one.
Yeah, it is a tough one.
Well, you know, I wasn't watching
1988?
Devils back then. 87.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna guess they were 3-0 against the Chicago Blackhawks.
Got one.
Okay, all right.
Wow.
The Winnipeg Jets.
Nope.
Okay, it's got to be a Western Conference team, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the Minnesota North Stars.
No, but let me give
Vancouver Canucks.
Oh, wait. Yes, the North Stars. Yes, you got 2 of 3.
I got
Now,
2
hold
of
on.
3.
Here we go.
Okay.
So, Dan, do you want to try to get the third team before I give Chris a clue?
Well, he'd be giving you a clue too.
No, but he's either going to answer it right or it just goes to you.
Take your headphones
You
off.
did really well considering this was 1988.
I
You
guess.
Where you
just
pulled that
randomly
from?
guessed this shit,
I
right?
guessed, yeah.
You don't
Did you
remember this,
guess?
right?
Well, I went Chicago because that was the biggest win of 1988 when we
Yeah.
beat Chicago.
Right,
So I
that's-
knew
all
we
right,
had at
you
least
said
one
some good
against them.
logic.
So let me try Chicago. And then
that's
I
a
was
good
thinking of
thought.
teams
That's a
that
good
I
point.
thought you pulled it out of your ass. That's a
weren't
good guess.
around or whatever. So it was kind of like, what would make this kind of a cool trivia question? Like the Minnesota North Stars would make that like a cool trivia question because they're not
Well,
here
you
anymore.
first you thought Winnipeg. Don't forget.
I did say Winnipeg
That's
You
for
were
the
wrong.
same
Okay.
reason.
2
You were
out of
wrong.
3. Just saying.
Yeah, but I think that's actually I think you get a point, you lose a point, so you only get 1 point.
Yeah.
There's
There's really no rules to this
Dan's
game.
math, I
Bobby,
can
I'm
answer all
keeping-
3 right and get 0 points.
I'm going to be a point whore when it comes to your game. So I want points. I want the most points.
Okay. I'm
Well,
writing
take a
that
guess.
down.
Take a guess.
It's a Western Conference team, so you've already
Yes.
narrowed it down. It's 80, so you don't have 32 teams to work with.
Right. That's why I'm going Vancouver Canucks.
Vancouver Canucks, Chris. Anything else?
No, I like Vancouver. Is that a good guess?
Depends. What's your favorite color?
Purple.
Yeah, that sucks. Dan, what's your favorite color?
Red, white.
Are there any
yellow,
teams you
and
know
black.
that have a color is the name of the team?
Oh, St. Louis. Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. Wow.
It's not the Blues
That
in the
was
same
the
way, but it's
clue.
still
What's
blue.
your favorite color was the clue. I'm thinking of a team that wears purple. You
Yeah.
know?
I thought Bobby was just changing the game on us. What's your favorite
This is not a
color?
game. It's
For extra
just,
points.
I just want to get to know
it's
you
just a
better.
trivia book.
No, but I thought Bobby was going to start
I just want to
awarding
fill off.
random points for choosing the right color. Like Chris missed his chance when he said purple. He's like, wrong answer. Purple's an awful
You know,
color.
you laugh
It'd be
now,
your
but
favorite.
these last
And then
5
you-
minutes of this podcast are going to be a hit.
I know. But when you asked me, I was like, Chris, that's so silly. It's of course you can have whatever. It's white, and I just blurted it out. You had me
I
going.
think to really
Like, am I racist? What did I just say? White's not even a color. Why would I just blurt that out?
to increase our engagement, I think that we should play the back part of the show first. This is just going to take off.
Oh yeah, definitely.
These idiots in their trivia book.
You'll play it backwards. I do.
That was
I
insanity.
prefer the trivia book game a little bit better than the Devil History game. But you have a whole trivia book, so we could do both, right?
I don't
We
like
can do
the
both.
part
And-
where I
okay,
have
cool.
to do.
I'll only
work,
bring
Bob.
up
I got to
the-
tell you the truth. I like tonight's game's version, both versions,
Well,
better.
okay.
Because when you ask me to Google, I'm like, I don't want to fucking Google. I'm not lazy. It's too much work for me.
Here's the thing. I can't.
I'm gonna
like,
always never win that game.
I'm the owner of the trivia
I'm not
book.
doing it.
So
Yeah,
if,
right.
if we were just to do this all the time, I can never play the game.
Oh yeah, you're
Sure
right.
you can.
So I just figure
You
I'd
just-
throw out some
here's
random
what we
shit
do.
once.
You're like
do.
Pat Sajak.
We
just
just
MC
we
the
mail
shit.
this book around,
I can
guys.
do
We
that.
just mail it around. And
I mean, you guys
when it
have
arrives at your house, you have
three-way
to
competition.
Do you think I'm spending $4 on a devil book?
No, you just have to. Bobby's going to send a postage paid, and
Good.
you're just going to mail it to me, and I'll mail it to him, and Bobby's going to pay for all of this.
Wait, make sure you send the return envelopes and everything, Bobby.
Yes,
Okay.
because
We'll
we're
do that.
too cheap to buy our own copies
do
of
that.
what is a $4 book. Because
From
it really
Amazon.
it looks very thin.
You can order it now. You can have it by the time you wake up.
I think you just read half the book to us tonight. It's a very thin book.
I'm kind of bummed that the
There's a
Devils
lot of
don't have a
questions.
bigger trivia book.
No, there's a lot of
questions.
questions on each page.
Okay.
Like there's
Okay.
multiple questions.
There's like
can-
nothing on
we
the
can
bottom
do
third of the
years.
page.
No. Questions,
It's like a
answers.
children's
One whole
book.
page was like
Waste
Scott
of-
Gomez questions.
It's a waste of paper.
Did it come with any
It's
pictures?
Give us one more question.
All right. Random question.
Random question.
Give me a question.
I can do that one. Hold on. Okay. See, that one's hard.
That's what she said.
Yeah, you think so?
Is it big words? What is it?
You want an easy one?
Yes.
Which of these two Devils were winners of the Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year? You have 3 seconds.
Martin Brodeur.
3,
Oh, damn it. That's the one I had.
1.
Muller.
Kirk
No.
Muller.
Or Muller.
Kirk Mullet.
No,
I
Kirk
said-
Muller.
I said Muller. Kirk Muller.
I just
Brendan
said,
Bennett.
it's funny because I just said there's a whole page of questions about Scott Gomez. And that's the answer.
Oh,
Scott
shit.
Gomez.
He did get the call there.
Yeah.
I forgot that.
Damn it.
Kirk Muller.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna bounce on that note.
That's a
So,
good idea.
any place that you guys are listening to us, please give us a like, a positive review, a 5-star rating. It goes a long way to promote our stupid little podcast that we do. So, for Dan, Bobby, I'm Chris. We're the Uncle Puckers. Big Devil win. It's a good night.
Yay.
We'll see you when we see you.
Book is out.
Bye-byes.
Bye-bye. Probably changed that.
Later.
Popeyes?
Change up his...
That's what you do now?
Intro.
You do
Caught that?
Popeyes.
Oh, yeah.
Bye-byes.
That was a new one.
It's
Bye-bye.
like your Borat bye.
What's
She's
your
my
name?
wife.
Bye-bye.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.
Bye-bye.
Bye-byes.
Bye-bye.
I like